Hello friends in District 4, this is Commissioner Ryan Baty. I'd like to share with you a quick update on things we are working on here at Sedgwick County. For this month's newsletter, I want to provide some information on the water contamination efforts surrounding 29th and Grove. This is a discussion that I've been involved in now for nearly 2.5 years. Let me provide some background so that I can bring you up to speed. In 1994, the city of Wichita was doing road work on East 21st Street near the canal route when they discovered contaminated soil and groundwater in the area. In 1998, the Kansas Department of Health and Environment got involved and they traced the source of the contamination to a property that is now owned by Union Pacific Railroad just south of K96 near 29th and Grove. From their research, it was best determined that at some point in the late 70s or early 80s, either a large single spill or a series of spills of a chemical solvent commonly used for degreasing had seeped into the soil and then further into the groundwater. The contamination spread over time, and a large plume had now impacted nearly a 3 square mile area. This chemical that was leaked, commonly called TCE, is a colorless, volatile liquid that is toxic to the kidneys, liver, and central nervous system, and is also a known carcinogen. Obviously, this is a serious problem with significant health impacts to those that come into regular contact with the contaminated water and soil, or if the contaminated water is consistently ingested. From there, KDHE entered into agreements for remediation of the contamination plume, and those efforts continue to this day. It's worth noting, KDHE also agreed to conduct a health study for the contamination area to help better understand the impact of those in the community. The results of this study, unfortunately, revealed data that there are elevated health concerns for those in the community, including disproportionate numbers of liver cancers and low infant birth weights. That revelation obviously sent a shockwave of fear and concern through many people in the community, and the calls have continued for justice and action. There are a couple things I want to be very clear on. First, the community did not become aware of this spill and the impact until late summer in 2022 through the efforts of community advocates. As the county commissioner for the district, I was unaware of the contamination site, and neither were my predecessors. The same is true for recent and current Wichita City Council members of the impacted district. Local government and our citizens were not made aware that for nearly 40 years, the people living around 29th and Grove had poison in the water and the soil beneath their feet. At the most basic level, this is a failure in the systems that are meant to serve people. The result of this failure in communication is that there is now more fear, more frustration, and more distrust. It's not appropriate to talk about steps forward without first acknowledging that fundamental fact. Second, upon learning of the situation, we have worked diligently alongside partners at the state, City of Wichita, local organizations, and community advocates to find solutions and bring justice to those that have been impacted. There have been multiple town hall meetings, as well as dozens upon dozens of meetings with local leaders to flesh out the potential action plan. In 2023, our FQHCs committed to assist with screenings and testing for those in the impacted area to help serve those with health concerns. These efforts were aided by a generous gift of over $400,000 from the Kansas Health Foundation to ensure testing could be realized for all those impacted that sought an opportunity. So, where are we now? Remediation is happening for the soil and the water, but what about the people that have been impacted? The state legislature has provided an opportunity to access upwards of $3.5 million for health testing related to 29th and Grove contamination site, part of which will be contingent on a local match that is currently being discussed and organized. This is a real opportunity, and the state has come to the table in a big way. Let me say, I'm grateful for the passion from many individuals that want to move forward an action plan that better serves those that have been impacted. We need passion, but we also need viable strategies and an ability to actually execute a plan that can work. Without that sort of planning, we will see government do what government so often does, throw good tax money at a problem with no real avenue to deliver positive results. I refuse to let that happen in this situation. These people deserve our best effort. That state money will get put to use, and we want to do it wisely and maximize the impact. We learned some valuable lessons in 2023 with the $400,000+ that was provided for testing. A Kansas Health Foundation debrief revealed that of that $400,000, less than $35,000 was actually utilized for testing. Why? We need to understand why. The clinics simply were not equipped with the necessary equipment, resources, and the systems to do the tasks that we were asking them to do for us. We learned that more funding would not be enough to provide effective solutions. The community needed to better equip the clinics so they can actually manage the public health issues we were tasking them to address. So, for the last 6 months, we've worked collectively to develop a systemic plan that we expect will have a generational impact. Our people deserve a well-thought-out, well-executed strategy, which is completely opposite of what they've been given up to this point. With this strategic plan, funding and resources will be deployed in a way that strengthens the network and strengthens the capacity to provide testing for individuals impacted at 29th and Grove, not just for one-time testing, but for a lifetime of testing, which we have been advised by medical experts will be needed for the impacted people in this contamination plume. The work continues and the funds will soon be deployed on a plan that will work. These folks need us to deliver progress, and although it's been a bit tense at times, we will come together and we will help meet their needs. In closing, and I want to be abundantly clear, this can't be the end of the story with water contamination issues. Although the attention of these legislative dollars are specific to health testing at 29th and Grove, there are over 220 active contamination sites throughout Sedgwick County. I've learned through this process that the systems aren't communicating effectively and that the people that are being impacted are often being left out of the loop. There has to be a better way, and I'm determined to help find it. The discussions will continue, and I will keep you updated as we go. I hope you have a better understanding of the situation impacting the people around 29th and Grove and why the tensions are understandably high. If you have any questions or if you simply want to share some feedback, I'd love to hear from you. Please feel free to give us a call here at the office or send me an email directly. As always, thank you, District 4.